Throughout history, mankind has built sites of great spiritual significance. Siwa, Giza, Persepolis, Mohenjo-Daro, Sukhothai, Nazca, Machu Picchu. Now, here's the strange part. If you were to draw a line through these ancient sites around the globe, you get a perfectly aligned circle.
The Great Circle.
Exactly.
Welcome to Between the Joysticks. Press start and then we're off. Nick and John, they've got the sauce. Breaking news and some hot takes. Even if there's some mistakes, Nick is captaining the ship, while John gives thoughts straight from the hip. But when their powers combine, we're all in for a hell of a time. Between the Joysticks is the best. Up to 6 things they will address. Tell all your friends and settle in. Between the Joysticks now begins.
Hello there. On this episode of Between the Joysticks, we are going to give our 2025 preview for the second half of the year. What are John and Nick's most anticipated games for the second half of the year? John has finished and completed Indiana Jones is going to review it. And finally, what did John say to Nick to have him put a hit on him? Listen to find out all that and much more on this episode of Between the Joysticks.
What slippery bullshit did Nick come up with and not prep John about on the podcast? I'm not sure, but we'll find out together.
Yeah. Yes, you will. And that voice there is my co-host, John, and as always, I'm your host, Nick. We'll kick things off. Nintendo Switch 2 watch. I think this is the last time we're going to bring it up, but I think it deserves to be brought up. I know I asked you the question last week, but now Donkey Kong is out, and it's reviewed, and it's one of the highest reviewed games of the year. Obviously a Game of the Year candidate, 91 on OpenCritic.
Yeah, people are bananas about Bonanza. Sorry, I did low-hanging fruit. Shut up. So this is a Switch watch for me, right?
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. You're the only one.
Well, it's good timing on that. I actually had a coworker come up to me about an hour ago, going, "Hey, I got a Switch 2 for $400 from a scalper. If I can get a new one, will you pay me back?" And it was intriguing for a second, I will admit. But I don't think Donkey Kong in and of itself is enough for me to pull the trigger now. I'll wait for some other stuff to come out. And honestly, probably the move is to just get one closer to Christmas time so I can double dip with the present for my son and then also just take advantage of it as well. So,
right.
Probably wait. Yeah, I would wait till a little bit closer. But yeah, no Switch 2 for me yet. Not feeling the crazy urge, but I will admit the way that at least the honeymoon phase, the immediate crowd that were excited for Donkey Kong that bought it day one, they are saying some wild shit about it not only being amazing, but being the greatest platformer of all time and all this other nonsense that people keep spewing out that, because we live in an age of everything's the greatest or the worst thing ever. So, I think people will come down on that a little bit as time goes on, but it does sound pretty fun, and I want to play it whenever I do get a Switch, just not quite yet.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm glad that this is just not a sequel to Odyssey, and that they went this route with a different character with new mechanics, and it seems to be obviously paying off. It seems very creative and interesting, and a good spin on the 3D platformer formula by being able to manipulate the environment as you are in this game.
Yeah, it's incredible what those programmers what they do over at Nintendo. They're the best in the world. I think there's other maybe development teams that I enjoy more, and I would like the way they make games. But in terms of just raw talent, I don't know how these guys can be beat. So yeah. Good for DK Donkey Kong. He's been missing for a while. I guess Tropical Freeze was what? That was like 2013, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and he was pretty prominent in the movie too. So his stock has gone up.
For sure. For sure.
All right. Well, the other thing is the tease that I said that I put a hit on John is actually true. John did do something that made me very upset.
You can't lead witnesses. You're number one. You can't lead witnesses.
What do you mean by that? Who am I leading?
The audience. Yeah, you're going to immediately paint me in a bad light. They're going to whatever you say now.
Okay, we'll see if you remember this. All right.
Okay, yep. Why do you have okay?
Off the air, we had a coworker ask the question, and we were talking about Donkey Kong. I believe that's what led to this question. Is what game currently would you give a 99 to?
Oh, sure.
And I said Cyberpunk 2077, currently my favorite game of this generation, one of the greatest games I've ever played. And if I could capture and post a picture of John's face when I said that, it was a look of absolute disgust. It was
Yeah,
like,
it was pretty disgusting.
It was like, ugh.
Yeah.
So, so you got some explaining to do.
Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
So I know that you played it and you were not as high on me, as high as I was on the game, but disgusted face. Excuse me.
Yeah, disgusted face. Listen,
All right.
listen.
All right, here we go. I was tired before the show, but now I'm all.
Now you're ready
I'm
to
up,
defend
I'm
yourself.
amped up for this.
Defend my honor. I am not disgusted so much that you think Cyberpunk could be a 99. I was more incredibly surprised and shocked that that's where your brain immediately went to. I've known you for 6 years now, 5 years, and your PSN name. Can I say your PSN name?
You've said it on the show already.
Geralt of Michigan, right?
Uh-huh.
You are a huge Witcher fan. You are a massive Red Dead fan. You've famously talked about how you don't like first-person shooters. I know Cyberpunk changed your opinion on that, but to immediately go to that one as the 99, especially with you got to admit the main narrative in that game sucks. It's not good. And you're rolling your eyes, but I know you know it. You always talk about how the best stuff in that game is the side stuff, which is great. But when we're talking about that perfect thing, I've never heard you say a bad word about The Witcher or Red Dead, or any of those kind of games. And then even when we did the top 50 games that we both share, I don't remember you putting up a fight about Cyberpunk much at all. Right? When
did we do that though?
That's a good question. I don't know. But for the big game for me, for instance, right? Like Final Fantasy X that I would say is 99. I fought you on that one. I was like, I don't care really what you say. We're putting it in the top 10. And so I was just a little.
The caveat was that it was more. He said current. He wasn't it wasn't like I could go that far back.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, if I was to create my PSN name now, it might be like Night City Merc or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I just what. I guess I'll kick it over to you, and I guess we'll make this podcast all about Cyberpunk for a little bit. You think everything that game does, it does to a 10 out of 10 degree? Storytelling, gameplay, all that stuff? Or is it just really just the overall, it was so immersive, and it was so, I was in my element when I was playing it that I can overlook some things that I might not have liked as much? Is it more?
The game's only gotten better. And again, if I played this, I attempted to play this game in 2020 when it came out, and I had to wait because it was just so broken at the time. So when I originally played it, it was after the big patch, and then obviously I went back for Phantom Liberty. But yeah, it is the overall package. It's the simulation. It is my most played single player game on PlayStation. When you go to your profile page, It says most played games. It is the number one single player game.
Did you break 200 on that one?
No.
Okay.
It's 100, just over whatever my Persona 5, just to complete that game time is.
Yeah.
It's just ahead of it. It's the complete package. It's a game that I love The Witcher, but you're Geralt. You play as Geralt. And the game is really storied around that. And there are choices in that story, but there are more choices in Cyberpunk, and the endings are wildly crazy. And I know you got one of the worst endings, and I know how you play games. You rush through the main story because your time is limited. And I understand that. I wish you could just be I'm just going to walk around Night City and experience things. And I feel that I'm playing Death Stranding 2 right now, and I feel the same way. It's if you just mainline that story, I don't think you'll have the same experience as do someone who's taking their time, delivering packages, figuring out new ways to cross the environment. And same here. If you get lost in Night City, you take your time. There are some excellent side quests. I do think the main quest is very good too, but like I said, I'll admit that when you got the ending you told me you got is by far, I think, one of the worst ones, and I've seen them all. So, it's just an incredibly beautiful game, and they just patched it again. They got VRR support, which
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah.
I'm playing that game at over 100 frames per second. I was like, oh my god. And yeah, I'm just looking for a reason to play through it again. If they ever do a PS5 Pro patch, I think that would be, and I had the time, that would be enough to go back in it. But yeah, like I said, it stands as like my number one PS5 generation game.
It's fair. It's fair. I'll allow you. I'll allow it. And in fairness, I believe I did say later that day that Cyberpunk still does have this weird, I should get back to it at some point in my life game status where I do have time. Not saying it's going to ever happen, but like I do understand my shortcomings with my playthrough of that. I just like, again, when I'm evaluating a game, I'm like, okay, what are my abilities, skill trees? It's like I never felt like this. I thought the skill trees were pretty shitty, and
to your point, they redid all that. Like,
yeah,
so,
like
that's all changed now. Like gear is not your armor rating anymore. It's all about your cybernetics that you put in, and they've changed a lot of how all the trees work. So I mean, you're not the only one. Obviously, they felt that needed an entire revamp. So
yeah, and also just Johnny Silverhand sucks. Like I don't.
I know you're not high in Keanu Reeves, but there were some great moments.
He just I don't know, as a character, I don't know. Yeah,
and it just, again, it's a genre that connects with me a lot. I don't know what it is, the aesthetic, the idea of cybernetic implants, the idea, like your weapons can just have weapons come, or your arms can have weapons just come right out of them. It's just a genre that just connects to me personally, and like I said, a lot of people think what I think about the game, so. I just don't like the face you make. That was the part. Like, I understand it's not your game, but you can just be like, oh, yeah.
Like I said, the face was more on a, like, I was shocked to hear you say that as your answer. Like, really, that was the number one where your head goes. And that was surprising to me.
We're so far removed. Like,
now you have to play my 99 so you can give me the same face, and then we can have the same conversation about it.
All right, listeners, I want you to take a second, pause the show, think what John's 99 was. Just take a swing at it. All right. Okay, John, what was your 99?
Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh, wow. I'm sure everyone was way off.
Elden Ring. Elden Ring was my 99.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, you can make some arguments against the story and stuff, so.
No, Elden Ring was game of the year. What am I really going to say?
For sure.
And, I mean, again, is in a game that you were compelled to play it and see all the endings, too. Which is the kind of the parallel between the two games, is they're both games with multiple endings, ways to get to those endings, and we both had to see them all. We both platinum both those games, and that's a sign of importance, because both of those are not very easy to do.
And I think I have more hours in Neon White than any of those games. So, yeah.
So,
okay, well, fair. Fine, Nick. You're allowed to like what you like.
All right, so I can cancel the hit.
I don't know. Is it a nice, like, attractive woman coming to? Is it like Ana de Armas and Ballerina coming
I know. Yeah, I know your weakness. So
yeah, I mean, that's fine.
No, she's the accomplice. She'll distract you, and then when you're looking at her, you'll get. I made sure it was quick. I said I don't want him to feel any pain.
It's like when you when your dog's getting ready to go, and you take him to the beach and like watch one last sunset. Fine, happy memory. I'm good with it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. last image in your head. Oh, that's a hot chick. All right. That's all I got for the start of the show. So unless you got something, we can get into it.
No, just use your PlayStation Stars points if you listen to this today, which you're probably not, but that goes offline tomorrow, and obviously we're not going to talk about more than that.
Yeah, I'm not until they announce whatever's coming, whatever reward program they have next. But
no, let's do it.
All right, so this is how the show works. John and I can both bring up the 3 things to talk about for a total of 6 things. It can be a video game we're playing, a topic, a news item. It can be an email from you, the listener. We have one of those today. That email address is betweenthejoysticks@gmail.com. It can be a Twitter DM @joystickspod. Follow us there for updates on the show. Or it can be a subscriber on YouTube, our YouTube page, Between the Joysticks. We got a couple new subscribers there, so we appreciate that.
So we need to do less podcasts to get more subscribers. Got it.
Yeah, it's all about it's about rarity, right? Like we starve your audience, then they show up.
Right.
So
That's
that's a strategy.
Good to know.
All right. So our first topic is about the rest of the year of 2025. Our first episode of this year, we kind of went through the year. We went through our predictions. Some of those are correct, as such as Grand Theft Auto 6 getting delayed out of the year. Congrats to John. And
Hooray!
and a lot of that affected. A lot of things have happened. A lot of our anticipated games have come out, and a lot of our anticipated games have moved out of the year entirely, canceled. There's a lot of things that happen, so we're just going to revisit our favorite games of the year, and then maybe a quick discussion of how we think the rest of this year is going to play out. So we'll start with those anticipated games. I kind of did it like this. I did a top 3 most anticipated games for the rest of the year, and then I have a couple of outside looking in games that I'm keeping an eye on. I hope they're very good, and that's kind of a theme of the rest of this year because there's a lot of unknowns with the games coming out this year that I hope they're good. And so we can start there, John, or do you just want to get right into our top 3?
No, I think we start with the outside in ones.
Okay.
Yeah. Save
All
the
right.
best for last,
All right. Well, I'll start with an interesting one. Is that Lost Soul Aside? If you remember, that game was scheduled to come out earlier this year. This is the part of the Hero Project. It's made by a single developer. It's a 3D action game. It was at a State of Play three State of Plays ago.
So it's been around for a while.
Yeah, it shared a release date with Elden Ring Night Rain, and then decided to get out of its way and move over to September. We'll see if it still comes out, but just wanted to keep an eye out. I think it's a PlayStation exclusive, so that helps. And maybe it'll be this year's Stellar Blade. Maybe, perhaps.
Good.
All right, what do you got?
Are
Are you excited for Lost Soul Aside at all?
No, not really. I mean, I got to admit, until you come out and you get glowing reviews, if you are a fast-paced 3D action like a Stellar Blade, like we both like Stellar Blade a lot. You loved it, and I thought it was great too. I don't know. These type of games, right? The Devil May Cry Bayonettas, they just inherently feel very samey. Almost always, and I'm sure you can make the same argument about FromSoft games and things, or Souls games in general. But I need to have people get their hands on it, tell me that like, oh, the boss fights are out of this fucking world, or it doesn't need to be a lot to bring me in. It could be the soundtrack, it could be the boss fights, it could be the upgrade systems. Any of that stuff will get me there, but I don't know. I'm just always a little skeptical of them.
No, and I
feel the same way about that Fallen Feathers game that's coming out. It's like, I don't know, like it could be great, or Wulong, or what was the one last? Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah. No, again, this is why it's outside
Don't get
looking
excited.
in. It's like I want it to be good. I want it to could be that next Stellar Blade, but there's no way I'm paying a cent until somebody tells me
For sure.
that it's worth it. So.
And speaking of games that I won't pay a cent until somebody tells me is worth it, I'll start off with this one too. And I had to include it, I think, more from an intriguing factor than anything. This is a game that even if it does get good reviews, it could be a game that I don't end up playing simply because it might not be in my wheelhouse, but I'm intrigued by it. And that's Hell Is Us.
What is that?
Yeah, I don't quite know. It's they keep talking about this idea of like the opposite of hand holding, right? Where it's like, we want you as the player to have no fucking idea what you're doing, where you need to go, no quest markers, things like that. And I don't like really any of that type of speak.
Yep.
I like my time being respected, but I appreciate the what's the phrase? I don't know. Just trying to bite off more than they can chew, but in a positive way, right? They're trying to do something different. They're trying to, get people to, hopefully craft a world which just guides you where you need to go. And by talking to different NPCs and putting things together, you can progress through the story. It just seems like probably the kind of game where I'm going to have a walkthrough next to me probably all the time. And that's not necessarily what I want to do. But if they can pull it off, coupled alongside the combat system in this game that looks very Soulsborne-y, but also I like the enemy design. I like the way that looks. I think this could be a game that a lot of people really do like if it executes on the things it needs to. Again, I don't know if specifically for me, but with, as you said, like just something to keep an eye on. I definitely want to see what the review scores of this game turn out to be. I think it could be another sneaky, not game of the year nominee, but could be some people's favorite games of the year if it lands.
Yeah. I think so.
Who is that developer? This is a new team, I think, to Rogue Factor. So, yeah. No,
Okay.
not a new team, but they've done some the Necromunda games, if you know what those are.
Sure. All right. Next up, I want to bring Dispatch, the game that stars Aaron Paul, Laura Bailey, and a bunch of voice actors. This is a narrative-based game. Think Life is Strange. Think Bloom is Rage that I played earlier this year. I just want a really good version of these games
Sure.
with a good story. And this looks to have humor, and if it's funny too, that would be huge. But this is a game about a superhero, a guy who manages and dispatches superheroes to fight crime in the city. And again, the voice cast looks good, the art style looks good. They can just nail the execution and the story. I'm in.
If you've, it reminds me of Invincible a lot, at least like
Yes.
the art style. So, yeah, I mean, this one looks like it will be on the higher tier of those style games. I think I've reached a point though, Nick. I'm done with just narrative only games. Like I don't. I'll watch a movie. I'm good when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We kind of had that similar discussion earlier when we were talking about Directive 8020 getting delayed. You were just like, yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah.
I need to be engaged, and that only comes from gameplay for me anymore.
Just keep your heart open, okay? That's all I ask. If a Dispatch or a Directive 8020 comes in at like a 90, I think you'll show up.
Yeah, there's a level to all of that, right? But
Yeah. I mean, again, this is another ad hoc studio. Like, again, come on. Let's hope it works out. Yep.
All right. We're just going to get this one out of the way because I know you have it. I have it. I'm putting it in my outside ins exclusively because I don't want to take up a space of the three. But I'm going to do it anyway here just because. But Ghost of Yotei, we all know it's going to be great. We all know it's going to be awesome. I don't want to talk about how I'm so excited for it. Like, it's going to be sweet. But I also think it is going to be, they've kind of had some comments lately where they're like, oh, it's about the same amount of content as Tsushima. And, I'm sure they're going to iterate on things. But at the end of the day, it's going to be open world samurai, stealth, cool story. And I'm ready to play it. And I don't really have anything else to say about it. So I'm not going to put it in my top three.
All right. So it is my number one.
Yeah, I figured.
And again, since we last recorded, there was a state of play on Ghost of Yotei. Did you have anything to comment on the extended look we got? We got about 15 minutes of things, couple quick changes as stances are going away, that now it's going to be separate weapons.
I didn't watch it.
They have a system where vendors come to you now. Their reasoning being like, hey, you're on this cool adventure. You're following these leads to kill the Yotei 6. We don't want you to have to go, I got to backtrack all the way to this town to get to that specific vendor. You can set up a camp and they'll come right to you. Same with quest givers and other things. But other than that, it looks by the books. The wolf is a companion at some point. I don't know if he's permanent, but you do quests with the wolf, and it attacks with you.
It looks amazing.
Feels like that was ages ago, and it kind of was.
yeah.
So trying to remember all the details.
I mean, I do remember I guess I lied a little bit. I watched parts of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. But what I took away from it was I think they really leveled up the way that the world looks, which I know is crazy because Ghost of Tsushima was such a beautiful game. But it seems like they're trying to incorporate the Breath of the Wild style, Elden Ring style. Let your eyes tell you where you want to go, right?
Yeah.
We have this gorgeous world where, you might see a temple poking out of the trees over in the distance. And, it's not on the map or anything, but if you're interested, you go over there and there's going to be, something for you to do. Or they were even talking about how, they had this beautiful kind of, river running through a green valley, and there's, flowers. And, if you run on the flowers, you'll move faster and stuff. And so, they're iterating on the things they've done. But, I really I think the world is going to be a lot more fun to just organically explore, as opposed to your traditional, open world Ubisoft-style games where you're kind of constantly just bopping into your map, being like, where's the next spot, hit the marker, go to it, do that. You're probably going to... I'm hoping that they design the world in a much more fluid way. And Tsushima was already great at that, with the wind and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. That's why. But I don't.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're taking a lot of the feedback that of repetitive like side quests. You had the chop the bamboo, you had the rescue the foxes thing or follow the foxes.
Get naked.
Yeah, the springs, the poems. You kind of did those ad nauseum. Again, I love that game, but I'll admit you probably do those probably a little too much.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Again, my number one by far this year. I think the internet's downplaying it a little bit, but I think this game will deliver when it comes out in October. So
yeah, and don't forget just how truly big, like Ghost of Tsushima. I remember when that game was announced and dated and things like that. Sony put it out a month after The Last of Us 2, and so everybody's like, "What? Do they not believe in this game? Is it going to get trounced by The Last of Us? Is it not going to sell?" I believe it outsold The Last of Us Part 2. And so you have a lot of people showing up for this game. It's not only Sony fans, but it's open world fans. And it's not just Western audiences, Eastern audiences too, right? It's sold incredibly well in Japan. So yeah, this is going to be a big one for them, like every single first-party studio game is. But yeah, I think this will be even bigger than Tsushima was.
Okay. All right. Outside looking in, I have Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. My love of Metal Gear has kind of been rekindled, as I mentioned in our last show, playing Death Stranding 2, as it turns more and more into a Metal Gear game. I'm keeping an eye on this one. We'll see if Konami will do the proper upgrade, and there will be enough features for me to want to jump in again and play through a story I've played through multiple times already. But we'll see what they do. That's arguably a lot of people's favorite Metal Gear.
Yeah. I if I want to stay friends with Will, I have to play this. So
because you never played it at all.
Nope, I have not played 3 or God. I've beaten 2, I've beaten 4, I've played 5, but not a lot of it, and then I've never touched 3, and I've never really touched 1.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, 3 is a good one because it's. I mean, obviously it'll have its ties to the other games, but it is more of a.
It's the first chronologically.
Right. Yeah, it's self-contained. So.
Yeah. So no, I'll probably. I mean, I 100% guarantee Will's buying it. So at the very least, I can snag it from him. But, yeah, just hard to be excited about Kojima stuff right now when he's all over the place with Death Stranding. So.
Yeah. Fair enough.
All right, I'm going to go with Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evil East Chronicles. I've always wanted to play this game. I don't know why. And I've recently gotten more into tactics games, ever since I found Into the Breach and really let that kind of grab a hold of me. I think there is a more of a strategic mind type gameplay system that I can wrap my head around. So, the original release on this one, I think it clocked in at like an 88 on Metacritic, and so it's a very well regarded game. I've heard the like leveling up system, the job system is like really wackadoo, where you can kind of really create any type of character you want, and break the game and make them very overpowered and things like that, which I usually dig. So, I'll probably wait. It's a wait for sale kind of game. It's always hard to drop 50 bones on a
I was going to ask you if it's almost
old.
a wait for mobile game because these kind of games would. You were playing Balacho earlier, and I was trying to think of even another game to recommend to you, and I was like, I'm drawing a blank. But maybe this would be one if it made it to mobile.
It could be. I mean, it's mobile's always so hard when it comes to a like Balatro is perfect because
right.
I can just I drop in, I drop out. I'm not remembering anything. I'm not feeling pressure to play it. It's just when I want it, it's there. But if I bought it on mobile, I would be like, I gotta play it. I gotta find time for this. So I'm thinking it might be a perfect Portal game, hopefully, but we'll see. But I do have my eye on that one, and yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of drawn to it for some weird way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next up, I have Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
Yeah,
I think this is the first game from the Sega. We're gonna bring back a lot of our old franchises. I'm trying to think if
That's the official name of that directive.
Yeah. That infamous trailer where they were like,
Crazy Taxi, and Jet Set Radio, and
yeah, I feel like this is the first one. I can't remember.
It is, yeah, it is.
What's the Golden Axe?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think this is the first one, and they knocked it out of the park as far as just visuals. This has a great art style. It's very detailed, but yet very stylized, and just great looking gameplay. This looks to be a Metroidvania, which is not something I'm typically drawn to, but I think a lot of the, like I said, I think just there's just something about this game that just is drawing me to it, and I do believe it's gonna have this badass soundtrack. It's gonna play very well, and hopefully really kick this initiative off in a big way. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It looks awesome.
Dude, it looks so fucking good. Looks so good. August 29th. This is on my list as well. Almost put it into my top 3. But yeah, I wouldn't have thought that Shinobi's actually a game that I remember being very fond of on the Sega Genesis as a little kid. Probably rented it from Blockbuster, and I just really dug it for some reason.
What's a Blockbuster?
Yeah. If you don't know what a Blockbuster is, write us an email. We'll answer it the next podcast. But I'm very excited for this one as well. I'm very mad at you for having it on your dumb fantasy league, because it's gonna be incredibly well reviewed. Everything it's gonna do is gonna be great. I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, good for you. All right. Where am I at? All right. One left for the Outside In. Long-awaited Shovel Knight developers, Yacht Club Games are finally releasing Mina the Hollower later this year on October 31st. Very excited for it. It's taking if Shovel Knight was basically their modern take on a NES-style platformer game that everybody loved. It had a lot of support after release. This is their take on kind of a Game Boy Advance style game, I do believe, but much more Zelda-esque, where you're kind of this little character that can kind of burrow in. But if you ever played A Link to the Past or those old-style Zelda games, it invokes a lot of that. But Yacht Club Games, is incredibly well. They did an incredibly good job with the Shovel Knight franchise. I don't see any reason why they can't continue that on. And it's been a long time. I believe Shovel Knight came out in 2012. So, this is only their second IP ever. And, they've had it slated for release at the end of last year, didn't make it. So we're able to put it in the cooker for another 10 months to really refine it and make sure it's the product it's probably going to need to be when it comes out. Not going to be everybody's cup of tea, very retro look. But, I think... Pipistrello is another retro-looking game that came out this year that, it's got an 88 on OpenCritic. People love that kind of stuff if they can capture what made those retro games great, but also modernize them and bring them forward, which is exactly what Shovel Knight was. So I don't expect any different here, and that's probably a day oneer.
Yep.
So pretty excited for that.
Good choice. Also on my fantasy team. Suck it, John.
That one hurts especially bad because that was mine. I had it last year.
All right, my final outside looking in. This is a repeat of my most anticipated games of the year, and that is Mixtape. I've talked about it a few times on the show. Again, the next game from Beethoven and Dinosaur, the makers of The Artful Escape, a story-based game that takes place in the 90s with a killer soundtrack of licensed music. And I'm hoping, again, this looks to be a narrative game, and I just want to play a really good one of those. And if it's 2 hours like The Artful Escape was,
shorter for sure.
That's fine. That's great. I'll go for that adventure for 2 hours. So let's do it.
How many platinums you got nowadays?
50.
Shit. Got 55. All right, so we're on to our top 3, right?
Yep.
At least I am.
Yep.
All right, number 3. This might surprise you a little bit, Nick. Surprises me a little bit, but I'm genuinely excited to play another one of these, even if the last one wasn't great. Borderlands 4. I am excited to play Borderlands 4. Call me a whatever you want. You talk about how open world games are stupid and you don't have time and there's so much of them. And I know. Borderlands 2 though was a moment for me. I loved Borderlands 2, and I'm just kind of I'm digging. I'm wanting to play a shooter that is as zany and has as cool powers, and I've always thought the Borderlands skill trees are top tier, and the way that all the different characters play are really unique but super fun, and I don't know, I'm vibing with something like that right now where I can just jump in, turn my brain off. I don't care about the story. I whatever. I just want to go clear out camps, get guns that, legendary drops and things like that. I'm feeling one of those. It's been a minute. I was hoping that Diablo 4 would have kind of captured that a little bit. That, was a big fart in the wind in terms of capturing my attention. And, Elden Ring obviously had a little bit of that. But I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling a big dumb shooter right now, and so I thought that the previews we have had of 4 look great. I mean, they're really amplifying some of the traversal, I think, where you can it's a lot faster, maybe taking a page out of like Doom's book. But I fully expect the powers and abilities and things like that to just be a lot of fun to use. I'm not one of those guys that's going to be like, I'm ready to line it up with my 3 buddies to play. I think people who know me know that. I can easily play through this entire game by myself and have just as much fun. But, if other people are there, cool. If not, whatever. And, yeah.
I'm glad you brought it, because if you ask me what's going to be the best-selling game of the year, I do think it's going to be this game. I know it's the number 1 pre-order or wishlist game on Steam. So that's a big deal.
No slouch.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll outsell Call of Duty, because that's just what always happens. But
well, sell is an interesting point.
That is
with
in this
it
modern
being on
age,
Game Pass.
This modern age. Yeah, I mean, I know Monster Hunter Wilds is, I think, way up there, if not number 1 so far, and you got probably Assassin's Creed Shadows going to be up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a chance.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought it. We at least had to mention it, because I do think it is one of the biggest fall games.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of Game Pass, and another game that please just be good, please be really good, is the return of Ninja Gaiden with Ninja Gaiden 4. Can Koei Tecmo do it? Can they bring this franchise back to the prominence it once had with Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2? It just looks great. It looks fast. It looks like they got the assignment of being very violent and very quick. Just can they nail that execution? Because those games are not easy to make and not easy to perfect, in these modern times. So, I just hope it delivers. I hope, because this is not a genre I typically get excited about, but this looks great so far.
What's your Ninja Gaiden history?
I've played the first 2 and completed them. Ninja Gaiden Sigma, and then Ninja Gaiden 2.
Those are no slouch of games, man. Those are hard as shit. So, all right. Well, yeah, this is another one where I was kind of, when I was mentioning, it's like, it's hard for me to get excited about like just action, like just third person action. Like, I'm sure it's gonna be great, and I hope you get it and you buy it and you like it and you gotta play this, and I go, cool, and I'll have fun with it. But in terms of excitement, but we're still staying on Ninja Gaiden, baby, because I'm excited for Ragebound, which comes out in 9 days. 9 days, I'll get one of my top 3. But much like Shinobi, this is a classic platformer that's getting brought to the modern age. Just like Shinobi, it looks gorgeous. Much more pixel art, I think, than Shinobi, which is kind of cleaner edges and things like that. But this is being developed by the Game Kitchen, who made Blasphemous, Blasphemous 2, and then published by Dotemu, who is just killing it in this space with different games like Streets Rage 4, and I believe they did Turtles in Time, and I think they did.
Well, they publish those games.
So they got their hands in them, and so they don't do games that I think are
no,
really
they're a
less than
publisher to
great.
watch. I mean, they're publishing Shinobi Art of Vengeance as well. So, or no, yeah. I'm sorry, Sega is. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing.
They're publishing Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which we'll talk about.
No, we won't. Yeah, it's just that's kind of a thing. Like, Dotemu at this point is like a sign of quality, and this one, it looks gorgeous. It's going to have a retro feel to it, and less of a Metroidvania like Shinobi will be, but more of, I think, your standard kind of just side-scrolling 2D platformer. But I'm eating these games up, man. These games don't get old for me. I love the fact that they're almost always 10 to 15 hours. I like harder games now. It's just not to pat myself on the back, but it's like that's when I complete a game that gives me the feeling like I fucking earned it. It's what I'm looking for, and the more gameplay focused, the better. Like, I don't care about the story, don't care about any of that, but like, just give me some sick combos to do. I believe there's like some combo system in this game where you can kind of like really ratchet up that number. Hopefully there's no trophy attached to like flawlessly doing the whole game with a combo. You see stuff like that every once in a while. I'm hoping it's a
John will do it.
I might. I mean, there's been a couple games, right? Like Neon White was one of them. Cuphead was one of them, where I look at a certain trophy and I go, not in your fucking life. And then I beat the game and I go, I can do this.
Hollow Knight, man.
Hollow Knight's probably the greatest example of that, where I thought there was no way in the world that anybody in the world can do the Pantheon. But I will be hopefully reporting on the podcast on this game in 2 weeks. Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so too. All right. Well, I am bringing it. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is my number 2 game. Again, the makers of Shredder's Revenge. Again, a callback to the brawlers, the X-Men arcade, Simpsons arcade, but again, a more modern touch. This involves, it's Marvel. You can be multiple heroes. Enough said. It will actually be at Comic-Con this weekend. So, A, I'm hoping for a release date. And B, if you hear a man screaming, it's me because they announced Cyclops is in the game. It'll be heard all over the earth. You'll just hear a man screaming.
It's going to
out
sound
loud.
like Colossus.
Yeah. yeah, exactly. Definitely up there. They killed it with Shredder's Revenge, but this is definitely a property I'm much more personally attached to. So,
it's another guaranteed banger. It's guaranteed.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
you can't deny these games. You might not like beat 'em ups. You might not like Marvel, but you cannot deny the quality that these have.
Yep. So that's it for me because you spoiled my number one.
Yep. Got you. This was going to be on my list as well, but I knew you had it, so I was like, we'll let Nick talk and spread the field and just say one more game. But yeah, this game looks great. Might have to play it with you if you want me, but I also know how that goes. So
No, I don't want to play with I'll just play with your son.
fine.
I'll call your house and can you put Levi on the phone?
Levi home? Can he play? Nick? All right. And then my number one, I'm not confident in its release, but I fucking hope so. I've been waiting for Hollow Knight Silksong, just like everybody else. And they keep saying that it's coming this year. I don't understand them. I feel like they could just get away with a loose date. And do they not have enough confidence that even if they can't hit that date, they can't like just bump it 3 months out, 4 months out? Just give us something. Give us a little bit of belief that this thing is going to land at some point. I mean, I don't think we're, there's people that I talk to who are just, I think, trying to egg me on, who are just like, oh, it's probably canceled, man. Like, they're probably not. It's like, no, there's no fucking way that it's canceled. Like, it's just not. That's not possible. They're gonna get that game across the finish line, but when is it gonna be? I don't know, but I am gonna eat it up. Like, I won't deny the things that I can do in the Hollow Knight universe anymore. So if they do have some dumb challenge at the end of the game, which I'm sure they will, it's probably gonna be even harder. You better believe I'm gonna try. And I think Hollow Knight is probably my favorite Metroidvania ever, and Metroidvania is in one of my favorite genres ever. So that just kind of tells you how much I like those games. And
Yeah, and that's why I'm just so going into Gamescom, the anxiety I have about that show is so many games need release dates. They're all just holiday 2025, and this is one of them. And yeah, you cannot relax until you know when it's coming out, and it has a date. I would feel like you. I'd feel so much better about Silksong if they just said November 4th or whatever.
Oh, you mean saying it's just going to release alongside the ROG Ally? Is what is that? What is that? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And again, this is a game that has not even gotten a solid trailer yet.
No, I know.
So it's
what is going on?
It's rough. It keeps your audience anxious. But again, I think it is still coming out, and of course will be worth it. But we'll be tortured in the meantime.
Better be. That game's gonna be under a microscope.
All right. Were there any takeaways when you're thinking about these games at all? Release dates, October is insane. Pokemon, Ghost, Outer Worlds 2, Ninja Gaiden, Keeper. A lot of these games are all planting in October.
Yeah.
With the void that was left by GTA leaving, they seem to be filling.
Well, it seems like this year has just had these two big humps, which is it was that Doom: The Dark Ages Expedition 33.
Yeah, April, May.
That April, May was a huge release thing, and then we've kind of been in a lull for a minute, which is typical of summer, but then we're going to get another huge one there. So, I mean, that kind of tracks. That's typically how it is, but I mean,
Right.
my big takeaway is that I continue to see my departure away from AAA games and still close and still pushing more into the indie space. I mean, that's just where I gravitate towards, and again, if I'm being fair, Ghost of Yotei gets Borderlands 4's spot. I mean, I guess I'm replacing a AAA with a AAA. But yeah, I mean, it's the ones that my eyes light up for are the smaller, more intimate, more creative, unique experiences that don't have certain check box. Because I feel just like all these big companies have certain checks that need to be hidden boxes, and that's fine. I don't need bloat. I don't need more of the same kind of gameplay mechanics. I want new things, and so I keep looking at those and wetting my lips, wetting my whistle.
Ugh, God, that was gross. Yeah, no, you're right. The safe bets seem to be the indie games. They're just trailer wise and just showing, and obviously not as big of a risk as a $70 Ninja Gaiden 4 or any of the other big titles. Outer Worlds 2 this year, $80 for some of them. I understand that draw. I do have one question for you, John. What about Judas?
What about Judas?
Is there any hope that it can sneak in before this year's over?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I would like to tell you yes. I know it's on your fantasy league, but I mean, I guess there's this sliver of a chance.
Gamescom's my last straw before I.
I mean,
I
I wouldn't even say
it.
it's at Gamescom. I feel like if this game comes out, Ken Levine just thinks he's got the biggest dick in the world, and he can just flop it out and say it's here now. But because Ken Levine is. He's not on a Kojima level or a Miyazaki level or Miyamoto, those guys, but he is a known quantity who created one of the top tier franchises in video game history with BioShock. And so he might think he does have I don't need a marketing cycle. I'm kind of he's not he's independent.
Yeah, that's my hope is just a December release date.
Right. I could see them doing that. I mean, this game has been in development forever, for fucking ever. But no, I think that's a 2026 game.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
If you have some answers for us, write in. Let us know. betweenthejoysticks@gmail.com.
What are some big games that neither of us had? What do you?
Outer Worlds 2.
Arc Raiders.
Arc Raiders, yeah. Obviously, the next Call of Duty.
Is Dying Light the Beast dated this year?
Yep. That's August. Yep.
So yeah, let us know. What did we miss?
Pokemon.
What about what's that big crazy? You and Nick both are excited for. It's you can do anything. Korean Crimson.
Oh, Crimson Desert.
Crimson Desert.
Yeah. That's another.
That one could be. Yeah, who knows what that's all about?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, that's another one.
If it
Yeah.
comes. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that stuff.
Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
there's
that's
some
not big.
Nintendo stuff that we're missing, but
Okay.
we'll see.
All right.
All right, John, you're up next.
On to my review. All right. So, as Nick mentioned at the top of the show, I have completed Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yay.
So we'll get into it. But just this is a game. Nick reviewed it. You gave it You gave it a 10, didn't you?
I did give it a 10.
I gave it a 10. So he very, very, very much likes it. We don't need to dive in too deep because I don't want y'all to just be like, oh, yeah, we've heard all this before. But this game's great. It's a fucking great game. I think, as I believe I mentioned when I talked about it a little bit, is that this game does maybe a better job than almost anything I've ever played of capturing the spirit of the character that it's trying to portray. And, it helps that there's been 5 movies to establish this franchise on to really get a feel for how the cadence of an Indiana Jones story goes, the start, middle, and finish. It has all that, right? We're going to multiple locations. We're ending with some sort of banger kind of thing out of left field that, ties it all together but keeps it, fun and exciting, and you got the amazing villains and the amazing cast of characters. Indiana Jones himself is such a lovable character. I don't know how anybody can root against him. He's charming, he's funny, he's serious when he needs to be, and he's out to fight Nazis
right.
and protect artifacts and stuff like that. So, the vibes are immaculate. I think it did everything from a franchise standpoint that it needed to do, and then some. I thought that they did an amazing job with that. And I thought it was a great decision to kind of have some of the gameplay mechanics implemented the way that they are. This is a video game at the end of the day, but we don't want to be just going in guns blazing. That doesn't hold true to the character. We don't want to be able to, blink like they do in Dishonored, right? That doesn't make sense. Indiana Jones is a normal guy at the end of the day. He's a professor at a university who just happens to be able to climb and do things like
He's
that.
really good with a whip.
Really good with a whip. Doesn't miss when he swings a whip on a branch ever. But I will admit, I think as I got through the game, there were some of the weaker points did flesh themselves out a little bit more, and I did find myself kind of like going, okay, like I don't hate that you did it this way, but obviously the big thing is the combat system. The combat system is good. It's not great. It's, as I just said, I don't want Indiana Jones going in and like knifing people in the throat. I don't want him, having a Tommy gun and just lighting people up. But every boss fight, and as I got towards the end of the game, I'm a little tired of just punching people. I didn't even want to engage in combat really. Like if I could sneak up on somebody with a weapon and knock them out entirely, that's cool. But I didn't want to get into any fistfights with anybody, and I do think that that's a mark against the game. They could have tried to maybe figure out a way to spruce that up. Similarly, I last time I talked about the game, I applauded the leveling up system, which I think it's a really cool way to do it, where you kind of find these books and you have this currency of
Adventure points.
Adventure points, right? Where you find a thing to take a picture of, you find a note on the ground, you complete a quest. You're getting these different adventure points that allow you to unlock some of the skills that you can use later in the game. One, I don't think I ever had a meaningful upgrade really in that game.
Yeah.
There's really nothing going on with that.
Don't really feel the impact of them.
None
for
of
sure.
them. Yeah, and so it's kind of, that was a little bit of a letdown. And even like I found myself with a lot of currency at the end of the game, and I thought, well, did I just miss a bunch of books? And I don't think I did. I think I didn't really buy a lot of those books where you could at every location you could like purchase the ones that allowed you to see all the collectibles and things on the map.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I never felt compelled to spend my money on them at the beginning, and I wasn't going to go back at the end to just go buy those if I'm not going to go find them all. So I think there was a little bit of trimming of the fat or just a reworking of the some of the systems that could have benefited the game. But I do think that those are going to probably be things that Machine Games identifies and does rectify should there be a sequel for this game, which I think there absolutely should be. I think that, even though Xbox is going multi, what's the word? I blank out all the time.
Platform?
Thank you. Multi-platform with all their games now. This is arguably the biggest success that Microsoft has had on a critical standpoint in 15 years. So, I don't think it's a franchise that it absolutely should not be abandoned. This game was better than the last two Indiana Jones movies. So, like, you've obviously found some sort of working thing here. It got, an 87 on OpenCritic. People like this game a lot. I just think there's a decent amount of things that they can do to even make it better, right? I think that, again, the adventure side of it all, that is a 10 out of 10 to me. That is.
I agree.
I was incredibly impressed with how much I was just enjoying being Indiana Jones and doing the adventure side of things. But as I got towards the end of the game, like that back half of the game, I wasn't as excited to turn it on because I knew the tediousness, a little bit of tediousness was going to come with like, okay, I got to sneak around. I got to fight these guys. Like, I just want to kind of get to the next couple beats and things like that. You look like you have something to say.
No, I think you're spot on, and when I don't want to be afraid to use the 10. I
don't think so.
Is what I agree with what you're saying. I think they need to figure out a way for combat to feel hectic like Indiana Jones fighting is,
yep.
but not something you don't want to engage with, which I think most people like. They have those boxing rings. I was like, I'm not doing this.
No, 100%. Yeah, that's
so
not fun.
They do have to figure out a way to keep that hectic feel, but really refine it so you're just not swinging wildly.
Yeah,
and then to your point about the upgrades, none of them ever felt good, right. And maybe they can figure out a way to loop in something like either visuals. Or just some way to know that these things are happening, like that you're punching stronger, or you can reload weapons faster. It's just because
even something as simple as like I was towards the end of the game, and you know, the enemies don't have health, which is fine. Like, it'd be weird if there was a little bar above their head. But like, I would get into a fight with the guy, and I'd swear I'd punch him 15 times, and he's just not doing, like, he's just there.
Right.
I'm like, well, I'd knock that guy out with 2 swings over there, and so it felt a little wonky. But yeah, I think they were between a rock and a hard place, because how do we have upgrades that enhance your combat experience while maintaining the level of groundedness that Indiana Jones is? And that is a very hard task to do. Don't know how they do it.
And
but-
keep in mind that the upgrades are tied to these books that you discover, right?
Yeah, so you might
so
miss
I
them.
wonder if you just get rid of the books entirely, you have an upgrade tree, and so you can kind of see where you're going at, and a better way to reference
Mm.
the upgrades you're getting, and maybe. You know, I always like the upgrade trees that will show a little video next to the upgrade
Yeah,
of what
100%,
it does.
100%.
Maybe, and I know that they were going for a more of the simulation, like it's all tied to your book, and you're looking
Yeah.
through your book at your upgrades, and it's all.
Well, you could do maybe a little bit of each, where you have the skill tree, but like they're locked. You see where you can go, but they're locked until you find that book. And then, like, if you get towards the end of the game, it could be like, this book is in chapter 4. Go find it.
That's,
blah blah blah.
that's also a really good idea.
You know, just do
Yeah.
something like that to make it feel a little bit.
Because then if there's an upgrade you want, then you can specifically go for it. There's a
100%.
set of, you find a book and you don't know what upgrade you're going to get. And
And I
if
don't
it's-
care if I have more ammo in my revolver. I don't use my revolver.
Right.
Like, I don't care. So
Right. Yeah,
you know,
it's,
you can
it's like a
yeah.
Diablo game when you get loot that doesn't apply to your character. You're just like, well, this was
Yeah.
a waste of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we solved the problem. Machine Games, hire us.
But yeah, I mean, I from a game that I was not excited for at all, that I wasn't planning on playing, that to just kind of having it, you know, thanks again, Will, love you, to, you know, kind of having my hands on it, and granted, you playing it and you talking about the way that you did was, well, an obvious, like, okay, well, let me give a little bit more credence to this, was a very nice surprise, and I'm excited. I'll be excited for the next one. I don't know. The DLC will be interesting. We'll see how that reviews. That comes out next month, I think.
Yep.
You know,
September.
how big is that? How big is it? Is it just another area to explore? Is it more than that? Don't know if I'm going to jump into that immediately, but this is a very solid 8 out of 10 for me. I think it was very close to a 9. If Nick would allow me to do 0.5s, which he won't, because I already broke him down with getting 10 to the 10-point system, this would be an 8.5. But
Well, that's the point. You do it anyway, so you just
I
review
know.
on your scale. I
I know.
don't care. It's 8.5 then.
Yep. This is I do this with my wife too, where she goes, you want to watch a movie? No. All right, I'm going to put it on anyway, and you're just going to watch it because I dictate the rules. But no, I thought it was very. I would recommend it to absolutely anybody who knows these kind of game, or who likes a more of a narrative thing, who wants to go on an adventure, and not necessarily like the type of player that's just only looking for combat or gameplay mechanics. But it just popped into my head, and this is going to sound so dumb. I contradict myself all the time on this show, so I guess what else is new? But you know me, Nick, I hate cosmetics, right? Like I told you, I was like, if only Fallen Order had actual things to upgrade, not cosmetics. How fun would it have been to have Indiana Jones like unlock different like outfits that just look silly, like and stupid, but like you could kind of, I don't know, have fun with it.
know if you get the collector's edition, you get a different outfit, but I mean, I don't know. I like his classic outfits. I like his classic outfit, obviously, but I can't remember like different. He wears it in all the movies, so
No, I know, but like I guess what I'm saying is like you just take out you suspend belief for a second, like, oh, he's wearing a Brazilian Mardi Gras outfit for some reason, like, or just something silly, and you know, you can find different outfits like the Nazi outfits and like blend in a little bit better and things like that. But you know, you could even do that if like, okay, we don't have enough skill tree things to keep it where we want from a grounded standpoint, but also, you know, they're not adding gameplay differences. So, you know, okay, every once in a while you get a new hat to wear that, you know, like I'm wearing a boat captain's hat now, or
this is
something.
blasphemy.
I know.
Like
I know.
changing his hat.
I know. Yeah, you can't touch Indy's hat. Or yeah, he doesn't have a whip. He's got, I know, he's a leather daddy now all of a sudden.
Jesus.
But great game. Well done, Machine Games. Got some, you know, little edges to tweak, but really, really solid. Like that.
I'm extremely curious if they do go right to a sequel for this, which is the current rumor, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. That moves us to our final topic, an email. you can write in. That email address is betweenthejoysticks@gmail.com, and we'll read you on the show. This comes from pal of the show, Freddie B. Hey, Nick. Just listen to the podcast, and just I guess I'm just answering it, not you, John.
Fine, whatever. Whatever, Freddie. I thought we were bros.
Just listen to the podcast and read your email. Thanks for the Rex. I've been hesitant on Indiana Jones, but I think I'll give it a whirl. Well, we just talked about it, so if you like what John said, then that's another recommendation. I also checked out John's recommendation and have it bookmarked on the store, which I believe you recommended. What was the game you just recently got?
Shit. Spiritfall.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it. Awesome. After I get through the 3 other games, I'll give these 2 a spin. I'm surprised you love Stellar Blade. I'm enjoying it as kind of comparable to a Souls-like game, albeit without the ability to get stronger per se by leveling up your character akin to a Souls game, which I think is one of my gripes. Playing it on hard to start, I just feel underpowered all the time, which can be a little annoying, but still having fun with it. Honestly, the game that surprised me the most was Space Marine 2. I know neither of you are big shooter guys, and neither am I, but man, it's just kind of dumb fun. You really do feel like a Space Marine just cutting down swaths of enemies. Highly recommend it if you just want to zone out.
I like that he says that, like, you really feel like a Space Marine, like anybody knows what it feels like to be a Space Marine.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be a Warhammer fan, I guess, to really know what that means.
Yeah,
but they're just giant suits of armor, basically.
The amount of lore in that universe, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm down to go kill some bugs.
And then if you remember, John and listeners, is Freddie B mentioned that he had a surgery. That's why he wanted the recommendations. John asked what the surgery was, and he says, I had a sinusplasty done. Apparently, you're supposed to be able to breathe through your nostrils at all times. Who would have thought? So I've been recovering, enjoying that sweet, sweet oxygen that I've been deprived of for years of my life. Glad you can finally breathe, Freddie B.
It's like the best surgery to have to be able to recover and play video games. I feel like your hands are fine. I hope the pain is minimal, but I imagine it's just probably just like a pressure and just kind of like you can maintain that pretty easily. So awesome.
Hope you guys have a great week and looking forward to this week's show. I guess to make the comment on Stellar Blade is okay. I'm not completely Souls game adverse. It's just there are certain games that either mechanically or aesthetically will get me to at least try them, and if I enjoy them. I also think the Jedi series is a Souls-like as well. I mean, it has basically the bonfire mechanic and a lot of the same elements like hidden bosses and stuff like that. So I can get there. It's just what everyone calls the cream of the crop, the From Software version of those games. I have not caught on to them, and I've never tried Bloodborne, and I know that's the one that gets people.
Yeah, Bloodborne. And I also think, like, if you played Elden Ring at my house for what 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I do think that
I got to give it the college try.
You could get there, but I understand the hesitancy.
But yeah, I obviously you said you're not a Warhammer guy, but just nothing for Space Marine.
No, there is something there for Space Marine 2 for me. I don't know. I don't know. Again, like when I take a risk on games, it's almost always an indie game, right? Like when I see Spiritfall for $16, that's such an easier I guess I'm a little frugal. That's an easier pill to swallow than like if Space Marine was on sale for like $32. Right? It's like, I don't know, like I might not like it, and it's a big thing, and even though I know Space Marine 2 you can beat in like 7 hours.
Yeah,
but
and when you have a backlog and it's of genres that you do like, it's really hard to even take that risk on a genre you don't like. Like, right. I know you have Lies of P sitting in the back of your back pocket. You have a couple other games, so it's not like you're without nothing to play and like, okay, I'll just do Space Marine because it's something to do. It's like, no, I'm
almost always playing 2 games at once too. Like I know you're not that way, but like I'm almost always doing that, right? And playing, a little spoiler for the spoiler at the end of the show, but playing like Expedition 33 and Spiritfall seems infinitely easier than playing Expedition 33 and Space Marine 2. I feel like I wouldn't be able to figure out which one I want to play, right? Spiritfall is for when it's 11 o'clock, I've gotten to a checkpoint in Expedition 33 and I want to do 30 minutes of something.
Right.
I don't think I'd ever want to spin up another big meaty thing. So I'm
Sure.
also probably just making excuses.
You're fine.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
When time is limited, there was a giant Reddit post that I meant to send you and be like, is this your account? Because it was the same thing about becoming a parent and how like open world games, the intimidation
I read that.
and the
Felt
time
very,
it takes.
very seen.
Yeah, it's that his gaming tastes were changing, and it's like, yeah, that it just makes sense. Like it's not hard to relate to limited time and being like, oh yeah, you want to play 100-hour video game or a game that has you exploring an open world and you maybe get a couple check marks on the map like in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, no, yeah, that's fine. I understand.
It might be fine, but it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it any easier. I feel like a poser sometimes, you know.
You're beating games. You beat Indiana Jones. I
did.
think you're having a good year for. I know. I don't think you keep track of the video games you beat a year,
Not like anything more than my trophy list.
but you're doing good. You've knocked out a lot of big ones, so
Thanks, man.
you're doing your part. Thumbs up.
Everybody, get yourself a Nick. Make him make you feel better.
I'm here for you, bud. All right. Well, that is it for the show. Again, we apologize for the weird release schedule, and unfortunately, that's not going to change. John is going on vacation next week, so there will be no show next week at all.
Going to Gatlinburg. Gonna go see the mountains.
Yeah, go find him in Gatlinburg.
Yeah. If you're in Gatlinburg this weekend, hit me up. Got any listeners in Gatlinburg?
Yeah, recommend some good places to eat. I'm sure they'll love that.
Yeah, I was talking to one of Levi's friends' dads. They went to Gatlinburg last year, and he's like, we found this barbecue place like that. It's like some dude's shack, and he's like, it was so good I went back 3 times. And I'm like, I need the name of that place. Like that's what because like I've been to Gatlinburg I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
And let me guess, he couldn't remember.
Of course he couldn't remember. He's like, I'll
Goes
text
back
it to you.
3 times.
Yeah, of course he couldn't remember. But like I've been there a couple times. I love it down there. I love national parks. I love hiking. But I have always felt like I'm in Tennessee. I feel like barbecue places should be like just all over the place. And I feel like it's always just like a chain or like a big place. And like, no, I want the dude with a smoker on the side of his house type thing.
Yeah, when I was in North Carolina, we were like, we gotta do barbecue, and I was just like, this isn't great.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was nothing to write home about. So
Yeah, it's like going to Japan and like getting sushi. It's like, I mean, yeah, let's
yeah,
go.
this is better. Yeah,
Let's go.
but I better fall out of my chair. It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, any teases? We're gonna get the Battlefield 6 reveal by next episode. Yay!
Hooray! It's gonna be so sweet.
Electronic Arts.
What they always
make
make
this-
this Levolution? Isn't that what they call?
Yeah, that was one of them. I think that was the last one, wasn't it? Or maybe the
Well,
one.
I think that's just the phrase they always use for like how you can destroy buildings and change the levels.
Right.
Levolution.
Well, in the last one, they had like giant tornadoes and stuff like that would
Sure.
super wreck the map. But I don't know. They can't never launch those games in a good state, so they got their work cut out for them. Especially in this window where they have to compete with, again, all the other live service games that are out and get it done before Grand Theft Auto comes out. So good luck with that. But they're going to give it a try. I'm interested to see if it'll come out this fall
Yeah.
and compete with Black Ops 7. So that's a thing.
It's always a thing, Nick. It'll never not be a thing. No, teases for me though. Like I mentioned a second ago. I mean, I finally started sinking my teeth into Expedition 33.
Excited?
I've already gotten past where I stopped the previous couple times. So like I'm into the parrying system. I'm figuring it out. I do very much like it. Slight spoilers, I guess. Yeah, it's just me and Lune right now still. So like I'm probably pretty early. But I'm excited. I'm officially excited to jump into it, which is
yeah.
great.
So I'm curious what your FF10 perspective will bring to the discussion about this game as we pick it back up. So
Yeah, I will say though, I want a map. I know you want me to explore, but I just feel like I'm missing things. And
don't
it drives
worry.
me nuts.
When you beat the game, they'll patch it with a map.
I know. I was hoping that was just gonna somehow happen before I jumped in, but like. I get it. You want me to explore, but like I also just like knowing if I run past, because you run fast in this game, which is good.
Right,
I appreciate it.
right.
But, like I might just be running past shit. I don't want to
Right.
run past shit.
respect my time, please.
Yeah.
And that's a simple request.
And also like especially the way that like this world seems to be laid out. It seems not linear, but like seems pretty linear so far. And like I don't know if that ever changes, but like I don't know. I just feel like I could easily just accidentally main path it, and I don't want it to really do that.
Sure. Yeah, just make sure. I mean, your map will tell you where to go for the story, but you'll also pass areas you can go. And as long as they don't say danger on them, that means you're underleveled. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
Some of them are just like in just a zone with a record in it, and it's this cool looking backdrop. So there's just ones that you go into and they're just a visual
cool.
feast, and you'll pick up one of their like audio logs and
You
stuff.
get some super French music while you're doing it.
Yes, correct.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, no, and then Spirit Fall is still just a fun little secondhand game. Hopefully you like it. It's Hades and Smash Brothers still. After playing it for about 5 hours, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. We didn't really talk about that in our preview of the second half of the year, but that game full release is scheduled this year on Switch, unfortunately. And
Hades too.
Yeah, it bums me out. I was watching a Watch Mojo that had like most anticipated Switch games for the second half of the year, and it was like on there, and I'm like, why do they do this to me, man?
It's
Why
gonna
do they
come
gotta
out
do
the
this?
week of Grand Theft Auto
Yeah,
on
right.
PlayStation.
Yeah, it's just a bummer, and I know it's just how these things work. Like, yeah, it's Supergiant, get your money from Nintendo. It's fine, but I don't have to like it.
Yeah, no, that does still suck.
But yeah, on my end, I'll have both Doom and Death Stranding 2 finished. That is the plan by 2 weeks from now. I'm in episode 10 of Death Stranding, and once I complete that game, once I get through all the Kojima cutscenes, so maybe I won't beat it in time.
Yeah,
who knows?
Start now.
I will move back and finish up my playthrough of Doom. So exciting stuff. Lots of stuff to catch up on. Hopefully there's some news, and we'll have a jam-packed show in 2 weeks from now.
News has been a little dry lately, and the news that we get, it's like the Craft On thing, where it's like, oh, people are suing each other, and it goes, yeah, it's adult stuff. I don't want adult stuff. I want like fun kid bullshit.
Right. We want to get excited about something. Well, maybe again, maybe there'll be a Nintendo Direct, or as we get closest, Gamescom's coming up, and then games start coming. So it'll be here before you know it.
I mean,
Time
and like I
moves so
said, I
fast.
get Rage Bound in 9 days, so what do I have to complain about?
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, again, we thank you for listening. We love you out there. Please take care of yourself. And as always, in 2 weeks, we'll be back with up to 6 things.
As always, huh?
Yeah. Our new 2-week schedule. We'll be back. Bye, guys.
Latest.